Alrighty. And there it is. Credits. uh, uh, Mega Man X command mission has been conquered. Um, hmm. Well, I did not write down my thoughts for this game. Primarily because I thought about writing it down today. But also, there's really not a ton that I would probably say about this game. Uh, I think my thoughts are very simple, but I'll try to unsimplify them. So my overall thoughts on the game. I think if you ignore the story, this game is pretty freaking cool. You know, you get to play as Mega Man, who's a maverick hunter, and you get to hunt down like all these robots and things like that. Has this really cool combat system, and like there's like all these interesting customization options and different types of systems that can interact with each other. A lot of that stuff is just really really cool. Story is kind of a throwaway for me. Nothing too interesting or really anything worth noting. The writing just wasn't there. The voice acting didn't make the writing any better. It 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 certainly tried. I think it tried. It wasn't it. It wasn't it at all. But I would say, like, if you include the story for my overall opinion of the game, it doesn't knock the game down as far as one would think. Because I am more of a gameplay first person, and I think that's where this game excels. I don't think the story really adds anything of value. I guess the better question is, does the story take away from the game? And I guess from my perspective, I just had more fun with the story rather than, you know, any other approach with it. It's usually it's kind of tough to place a story like this in a spot where you want to.
U-22XX. A reconnaissance mission conducted by a team of maverick hunters successfully quelled a Reploid uprising on the man-made island Giga City. The Federation government determined the mastermind behind the rebellion was the Maverick Redips. Determination of the maverick status of the commander of the rebellion army, Epsilon, was deferred.
Right, we'll get to that in a minute. It's kind of hard to figure out like how you're supposed to weigh a story like this, because I've played stories where they try to be serious and it's just silly JRPG gunk all over the place with power, friendship, and all that other nonsense. And like, I just don't like those stories at all. Um, and you know, like their voice acting it doesn't make it any better. The writing doesn't make it any better. You know, like all of that stuff. You know, like it. I've played games that have parallels to this story, but the thing is, what separates this game for me, or at least what I think separates this game from me from those other games, is I could not take anything this game tried to do seriously. it was just silly 100% of the way through, and the voice acting just made it so much better for me. It was incredibly entertaining. And for other games out there, I guess I just don't always get that same experience. So that's probably where I stand on that. Is like overall thoughts. This game is really fun and really silly, but if you care about story, you're probably not gonna like it. Um, it's cool to play as Mega Man, and I think it's even cooler to not even call Mega Man in his own game. I don't know if he's called X in Mega Man X or any of the other games where he's supposed to be Mega Man X, but I I think it's pretty bold to name your game Mega Man X and call your main character who is Mega Man, not Mega Man. So that's pretty cool. Uh, for the story, was it satisfying? I'll say it was satisfying. It did what it came out to do. Did it feel complete? Sure. How was the pacing? Pacing was actually pretty solid. There weren't random moments where things slowed down and stuff like that. It was pretty light speed. I don't really have any thoughts on any specific moments of the story. Again, like it's just a goofy adventure that's not supposed to be goofy, but it was goofy for me. For gameplay mechanics and design, what gameplay elements stand out? Um, I like the force metal system. I like the ability to craft force metal stuff based off of things that you're doing in the game. I like the weapon systems where you have like a main weapon and then you can equip two sub weapons, and you can create different uh like types of characters with those combinations. It's very, very cool. I liked that in the Bados fight, I used Marina, who had a weapon that can hit all enemies, and I used her hyper drive so that she just gets a bunch of turns and just does damage to everything. It's super cool. Oh, and the hyper abilities. I think the hyper abilities are really cool as well. The combat in this game, I think, is probably one of the most interesting combat systems that I have played for a turn-based game in quite some time. Um, there there were a lot of scenarios where I felt like I had options and I could approach even like certain turns to manipulate other turns later on. I don't think a lot of turn-based games give you that flexibility, and I found this combat system to just be super super fun. And it without a doubt the best thing that came out of this game. Um, for dungeons, I wasn't really a fan of the dungeons. There was practical dungeon design issues all over the place, but it is what it is. For cardinal sins, removing a key party member without sufficient replacement. Spider was my main guy, and then they got rid of Spider, and that sucks for me. Granted, I did get Zero, and Zero turned out to be pretty nice. Let's see. I don't know if backup party earns less experience. I tried to track that, and then I forgot, and then I forgot to ever get back to it. So I have no idea. It's not a silent protagonist, thank goodness. Uh, yeah, we can move on from there. For miscellaneous sound and music, I did a level up this playlist episode for Megaman X Command Mission, and you can find all the tracks that I enjoyed from that particular soundtrack on that video. Not shameless plug because I plug so few things. For graphics, I like the visuals of this game. It is emulated, so you know it looks better than it's supposed to. But yeah, I like the character designs. I like the environmental designs. Even the animation work was pretty good. You know, if I were to throw some shots out there, there are some games out there that have a name that's another name for a road, and their animation is not as good as this game. And this game came out, you know, billions of years before. So, you know, shout out to this game for doing some great stuff. For the voice acting, I kind of touched on this before. You know, the voice acting is I'm glad that the voice acting was there, because if the voice acting wasn't there, then this game um would have been in from my point of view, it would have been worse. Because the voice acting made it fun. And if that fun wasn't there, then it would just be a game that's trying to be serious and isn't. And uh, you know, all that entertainment would just be like you're trying too hard. And you're not like and the writing just doesn't hold up. Other uh let's see. Is the game worth recommending? This one's an interesting one. This one's a very interesting one. Um, I personally really think this combat is worth experiencing, but I think RPGs like this, I'm not sure people go into these games and they're like, I want to experience the mechanics. I think a lot of people out there, they want story first, mechanics second. And this is not one of those games. This is one of those games where it's like, I want to play Mega Man and I don't care whatever else happens. I want to play Mega Man in a turn based combat system and I don't care what else happens. And, you know, this game does that. But for the people out there that probably would put gameplay first, story second, I would recommend this game to those people. Bomb diggity. If the developer is watching, I had fun with the game. I had a great time with it. It was silly. It was over the top. Um, it was hijinks all over the place, and I'm sure none of that was intended. But you know, that's what I got, and it's the experience that matters. You know, sometimes people are just gonna have fun with something that, you know, maybe you weren't supposed to have fun with that. You know, I I I've dangled a string in front of my cats before, and it seems like they're having a good time, but it's just a string. And I guess I'm the cat in this scenario. Um, I would certainly say I know it's probably never going to happen, but I would love to see a sequel to this game. And you know, I'll take the I we want to go serious approach and try it again. Or I'll take the, you know, let's have our voice actors and voice actresses just be as silly as possible and do it again. I'll take either one. I'll play it. I'll play it. But yeah, to reiterate my overall thoughts, I thought this game was great. Probably not for the reasons that it's supposed to be great, but you know, that's how things go. For the chat, I will say that I I think the ending probably needs some work, but you know, it's the ending. Whatever. You don't think the story is ever the highlight in a Mega Man game? It's the experience. I think that's a fair thing. I don't go play Street Fighter for the story. So if it has a story and it tries to do the story, am I gonna hold that against like everything that that game has to offer? Probably not, or at least not to a degree that puts a whole lot of importance on it and whatnot. Um, I do think it's relevant to assign values to a game where it's most important. And if the story sucks in Street Fighter, I don't think it makes the game suck. Let's see, you like the original characters in this game. Should have had more screen time. I see. This was one of the things I'm not huge on all the Mega Man characters. So I obviously recognize Mega Man and I obviously recognize Zero. But I wasn't 1,000% certain if Axel was a new character. Um, and so I didn't go with that, but like later on down the game, they basically confirmed he was like a Maverick Hunter. And I think the back of the box also says that they are from the X series. So um, yeah, but I think it seems like everyone else, probably literally everyone else, is a brand new character. Yeah, but he's lame. I have to say that my namesake in this game was disappointing, and you hate to see it, but there you go. Uh, what are you talking about? It's the best voice acting you've ever heard. Yeah, the best. He is called X because that's not Mega Man. X is the last creation of Dr. Light, dug up in an archaeology site 300 years after Light's death. In a similar vein, Zero is Dr. Wily's last creation. Really? Interesting. X is totally Mega Man. I mean, the box. The box says Mega Man. Mega Man. Come on. It's his command mission. Uh yeah, losing Spider was lame. I I can't wait. In 10 years, I'm going to reach this game and I'm going to do the encounter report for it. And I can't wait for me to watch other people's playthroughs. I want to see the final boss. Maybe some people can beat the final boss before Home Chick Slice with the Wings shows up. Maybe that's possible. I don't know, but I'd love to see how people approach this game and what characters they gravitate to. Um, I I have a feeling that Zero and Cinnamon are probably at the top of the list because they feel extremely strong, but who knows? Cinnamon should have been the main character. Okay, relax. All right. Cinnamon, come on. Come on. Mega Man has a lot of lore, loads of subseries too. Mega Man X, Mega Man Legends, Mega Man Battle Network, Mega Man Zero, Mega Man ZX, etc. Battle Network is the best. Battle Network is pretty good. I gotta give you that. It's pretty good. But anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for me for today. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I haven't decided if I'm going to stream tomorrow. So I think the best way to go about it is no stream tomorrow. And we'll figure out what we're going to do next week. I have Monday and Tuesday off from work. So I have to decide if I want to do longer streams on those days or shorter streams and spend more time on YouTube videos. But yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I'll see you Monday, 7 a.m. Pacific, to play something new. See ya the next time I see ya. Peace.